Hi guys, welcome to the realm of astrology. This is your weekend horoscope for the weekend of 14th and 15th August 2021. But before we begin, I would like to let you know that I do daily video horoscopes, weekly video horoscopes, and monthly sun, rising sign horoscopes that you can watch on my YouTube channel. And I also request you to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can be notified every time I post a video. Alright, so let's talk about what's happening on the weekend, and I will begin with Saturday, 14th August. And the first important thing happens at about 10 a.m. Pacific time, which makes it about 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And that is the moon here in Scorpio is going to square Saturn, right? 90-degree angle. Now the moon in Scorpio, which it has been since yesterday, is all about digging deep, finding the truth, transforming, healing, catharsis. And I did mention yesterday that the moon does not like to be in Scorpio. So we don't really feel very comfortable when the moon is in Scorpio. It's a very intense energy. It's about finding the truth. It's about digging deeper. It's about pushing one's limits, right? So it feels slightly uncomfortable. And this moment here at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. India time, we have moon squaring Saturn. Now the moon is our emotions, and Saturn is the planet of hard work and decisions and discipline, right? That's what it wants. That's what Saturn wants. And when they square like this, a stressful aspect in astrology, a 90-degree angle, which represents friction, which represents change, there is a need to make an emotional decision. There's a need to define something so that we can feel good emotionally. There's a need to work hard, right? And Saturn is a planet that does not really care whether we want to work hard or not. It says you have to work hard, and that's that. So that's the energy. You might be required to make an emotional decision. We might be required to define our emotions in some way. And we might be required to put in some hard work when it comes to our emotions. And this makes sense because the moon in Scorpio is about finding the truth. Perhaps we found something, we found some truth, we've dug very deep into our emotions, and now is the time we are ready to make some sort of emotional decision, make some sort of emotional definition, right? Define something emotionally. So that's in the morning, and I'll be honest, this energy can feel stressful. It can. Okay, so just be mindful of that. And the next important thing on Saturday happens shortly after that, and the moon is going to move on. And this is a positive aspect, right? The moon's going to move on, and this is 11 a.m. Pacific time, which makes it about 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The moon here at 10 degrees is sextiling Mars, and the moon is our emotions, and Mars is courage, it's willpower, it's strength, it's initiative, it's taking action, right? And in a positive aspect, this could very well be emotional courage, emotional initiative. And the fact that this happens right after the square to Saturn, it could be that we define something. We say, okay, in the past 12 hours or so, I have done some thinking and I have found this truth, or I have dug deep into my emotions, and this is how I feel. And then at 10 a.m. in the morning Pacific time, 10 p.m. in the evening India time, we say, okay, this is how it's going to be. I decide to let this heavy emotion that I'm feeling go. I decide to transform my emotions. I decide to heal my emotions. I decide to let go and release whatever negative emotions I have inside me at about 10 a.m. And that process feels difficult, right? Because release is difficult, transformation is difficult. But at the end of it, there's always something positive, there's always growth. And after that, an hour after that, at 11 a.m., with this sextile to Mars, it could be that we found the truth, we've taken the decision to release, let go, transform, heal, whatever it is, and now we find emotional courage to maybe take some sort of action. We find the strength or the resolve or the willpower to do something at an emotional level. So that's the energy, and this is a positive aspect. And in the evening, the next important thing happens Saturday evening, 6 p.m. Yeah, 6 p.m. and it is that the moon again here at 14 degrees of Scorpio is going to oppose Uranus. So this is 6 p.m. Pacific time, which makes it 6 a.m. India time Sunday morning, and Uranus is a sudden unexpected energy, and an opposition is a 180-degree angle which feels challenging, which feels stressful, and there is a need to integrate two elements. So what's happening here is that there could be a sudden unexpected change to our emotions, right, with Uranus. Or there could be, Uranus is also the planet of a unique authentic self, right? There might be a need to integrate our authentic self with our emotions. We perhaps need to start feeling good about who we are, our authentic self, our unique self. It could be either one of these things, but since they are in an opposition, there will be some stressful element to this energy, right? So that's Saturday. And to sum it up, there are three important aspects in Saturday. It begins with a slightly stressful thing with the square to Saturn, which requires us to take an emotional decision. Then, with the sextile to Mars at 11 a.m. Pacific time, we find the emotional courage, strength, willpower to perhaps move forward with that decision. And in the evening, with the opposition to Uranus, there's a sudden unexpected change to our emotions, or there is a need to integrate our emotions and feel good about our unique, authentic, true self. So that's Saturday. And then Sunday is a slightly more eventful day. So I'll talk about that, and then I will pick a card for the day. Okay, so let me move up the chart. And first important thing on Sunday happens at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which makes it about 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And what's happening here is positive. It's that the moon in Scorpio is trining 120-degree angle Neptune, trining Neptune. And Neptune is the planet of the higher realm. It's the most magical planet. It's the most spiritual planet. But Neptune is also a very sensitive energy. It's a very creative energy. But Neptune is also an energy that brings about confusion. However, since these planets are in a positive aspect, I do not believe we will have any confusion. But if you are having confusion, it's because of this. But I think it's highly unlikely that there will be confusion. Most likely, this feeling will be a really magical, spiritual, creative feeling to our emotions. It could also be that we are feeling sensitive emotionally. That is a possibility. So if you are feeling emotionally sensitive, then you might react to things you might not otherwise react to. So let this energy pass. But if you are feeling spiritual, if you're feeling like your spirituality and your emotions are in sync, if you're feeling like I feel so good and this is a very good feeling that I'm having, if you're feeling like emotionally you're connecting with the higher realms or you're becoming more spiritual, then that's the positive manifestation. It could also be that you get very creative, right? And if there is the negative manifestation of this energy, which means confusion and depression and feeling low and feeling like just confused, all those things, all those Neptunian things, then it's good to channel that energy into something positive, like something creative, like writing or poetry or music, because the energy is there, right? How we manifest it is up to us. But I do think it's going to be positive. I don't think it's negative. I do think this is a feeling of feeling very magical and spiritual. And then at 11 a.m., we have another positive aspect. And this is 11 a.m. Pacific time, which makes it about 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time, Sunday night. And what's happening here is that the moon here is in a sextile to Pluto. Now, again, this is a transformation. This is a healing. This is a point of catharsis. But it is happening naturally and organically. It is not stressful. Okay, so very basically put, this is a point of transformation. However, by the evening, we do have a stressful aspect. And what is happening here is that the moon in Scorpio is going to square Jupiter. Now, this is a point where we might need to make certain changes to our emotions so that we can maintain the joy and the optimism, right? Because Jupiter is joy and optimism and hope. And the moon is our emotions, and in a square, we need to adjust something, right? And we may need to adjust something to feel positive again, to feel hopeful again, to feel optimistic again. And Jupiter also magnifies anything it touches. So in this case, we can feel very emotionally charged up because there's a lot of emotions. There's a lot going on with our emotions with Jupiter squaring it. It's expanding it. It's magnifying our emotions. And in Scorpio, these emotions are about digging deep. These emotions are about catharsis, about release, about transforming, about endings and beginnings. And most importantly, these emotions are about finding the truth. Whether that's our own truth, could be anything like that. And then again, after that stressful aspect, the evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Monday morning India time, we have a positive aspect, and the moon here at 29 degrees is in a sextile to Venus. Now, this is a point where we might begin to start feeling very positive about our relationships, finances, self-worth, values, skills, projects, right? Because those things are Venus. So very simply put, that's the energy, feeling positive, feeling good about Venus, things about the relationships in our life, about the love life that we have, about our projects, about our finances, about our self-worth, values, the skills that we are learning. And by 10 p.m. Sunday evening, we have a shift. 10 p.m. Sunday evening, Pacific time, 10 a.m. India time, Monday morning, we have the moon entered the sign of Sagittarius, and Venus here has entered the sign of Libra. Now this is a shift, right? Let's talk about the moon first, and then we'll talk about Venus. And I did forget to mention one thing that I will talk about after this. So the moon in Sagittarius is a totally different energy than the moon in Scorpio. And for the past 2.5 days, up until Sunday night, the moon has been in Scorpio, which has been about digging deep, transforming, and healing, and catharsis, and endings, and beginnings. And the moon in Scorpio feels difficult. Our emotions feel like it just does not feel easy, right? Constantly digging deep and digging into your emotions is not easy. It's a difficult process. Even healing is release. You need to release to heal. So that's not an easy process either. But the moon in Sag is all about what? Hope, optimism, joy, adventure, fun. Sagittarius is the most hopeful and optimistic sign because it's ruled by Jupiter. So in the next 2.5 days, the energy is more fun-loving, more optimistic, more joyous, more hopeful. So that's a great thing. And the moon and Venus has entered Libra, right? And Venus loves Libra. Venus rules Libra. And Venus in Virgo was for the past 20 days or so, 25 days, Venus in Virgo was about getting organized, getting planned, figuring out things, analyzing things connected to our relationships, our projects, our self-worth, our values, our skills, our finances. And it's not easy to organize and get planned, that's not an easy process to plan things out and organize them. And Virgo is the energy of stress as well, right? So if you look at the chart, we have Mercury in Virgo, Mars in Virgo, Venus up until this point was in Virgo, which means a lot of organizing, planning, analyzing, being critical about things, focusing on the day-to-day, the mundane, and that can bring with it what? Stress and worry. But now Venus has moved on into Libra, and Libra is about finding balance. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a good thing, one, that Venus has moved into Libra because it rules Libra, it likes Libra. Two, because the Virgo energy has gone down. The stress energy, the worry energy, the energy of organizing and planning and getting things done and focusing on the reality is slowly going down. However, we still have Mercury and Mars there, so that is still in a way present. So let's talk about Venus in Libra. So now what do we do when Venus is in Libra? We focus on finding balance. We focus on finding balance in our relationships, in our projects, in our skills, in our self-worth, in our values. That's the main goal, right? And a lot of weighing things out. Should I do this? What are the pros and cons? So that's the energy. And it is an easier energy for our relationships, for our projects, for our finances, for our self-worth, for our values and skills, as compared to Venus in Virgo. Okay? So that's how we end the weekend, with a shift in energy. And another thing that happens on Sunday that I forgot to mention is that we have the first quarter square of the moon, sorry. Now this is a point where the sun and the moon make their first 90-degree angle after the new moon, and that new moon was in Leo on 8th of August. And now for the next whole week, starting on August 15th, we are going to be focused on making adjustment, overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges connected to the new beginning that happened with the new moon in Leo on August 8th. You can watch my new moon video to know what that means for you, and you can watch your monthly sun rising sign to know what that new moon brought for you, for your sign. So that's the energy as we enter the week. A lot of adjustments, a lot of overcoming challenges, not release, right? And a shift in energy, a lot of hope and optimism as we come into Monday, and at the same time finding balance, an easier energy when it comes to our relationships, projects, finances, self-worth, values, and skills. And usually I give the big picture of 2021 in every video, the underlying energies that we deal with on a daily basis. But since it's the weekend, I'm going to skip that, and we'll talk about that on Monday. But if you're really keen to know, you can watch my yesterday's video to know the big picture of 2021, because it does not change. And now I will pick a card for the weekend, and then we'll close out the reading. Okay. This flipped over and it says loneliness. And it says, I know that I'm never alone. And I think the lesson this week is to know that we are never alone, right? And if you are feeling lonely, you are not alone. You can connect with anyone, anytime. And I think that's what one needs to hear this weekend, that one is never lonely and there are people out there. And yeah, I think that's the lesson for the weekend. So that's all I'm going to leave you with. Now I will see you on Monday for the daily horoscope. Have a great weekend. And yeah, I'll see you on Monday. Bye.